Hey, good morning, YouTube. What's going on out there, folks? Finally, Friday once again. Welcome back. See what's going down. I was surprised this morning when I opened up the Google machine. Interesting things going on, or things I didn't expect to see anytime soon. Among other things, but it looks like Roger Stone was picked up by the FBI in the dark of the morning, which is interesting. Of all the people to get arrested by the FBI, makes me think I might be needing to go buy a MAGA hat or something. But arrested for making false statements and witness tampering. I think WikiLeaks is involved in here somewhere too. Apparently CNN has video as well. I haven't got around to that yet, but that was on the Drudge where I found the links. But if you know if they're going to come to Roger Stone's front door, guns drawn, how they're going to treat you, that would be one consideration to think about. And if they're not going to take down the Clintons or any other of the nefarious people who have gotten people killed and worse, what are they going to do to you? Pretty interesting stuff. Not to say there's not corruption involved or whatever, but there's definitely people that have done much worse, but it just goes to show you they're not going to go after people unless somebody tells them to. So who are they going to tell them to hunt down and track down? And that's who they go after. They're just good attack dogs. Yeah, CNN's got video, I guess. These are snapshots. This is out of the Daily Mail. All the links on the top of Drudge if you're surfing for it. There are others indicted, I believe. It's funny, a guy like Stone, too, they could pick him up in any peaceful location out front of his house and they do a dark night of the morning raid and raid style, just to send a message, I think, just to let you know the way it's going down. So bad times in that case. But it says in the indictment that during the summer of 2016, Stone spoke to senior Trump campaign officials about information held by WikiLeaks that might be damaging to Clinton. All that. No wonder they came after me. Damaged Clinton. There you go. Not sure how this has anything else to do with anything, but and I'm not sure what was done illegally. I've still not figured that out. I guess because all the WikiLeaks stuff is considered illegally acquired. Maybe that's what it is. And maybe they did lie about it, potentially to some official. Strange times. Well, not strange. We all knew it was pretty baked in the cake, but I didn't expect anybody to get arrested over this crap. Yeah, just him, I guess, right now, and whoever's associated probably with him. But I guess, again, I don't know if the Daily, who's got it besides the Daily Mail? Miami News. Oh, there's the CNN. So he was asking about WikiLeaks, got information from them that they had acquired because the Russians hacked Hillary's email, and he's the bad guy. Folks, strange times. Dadgum, make me want to vote for Trump, keeping this stuff up. But yeah, I don't get it. FBI, again, full-on military raid on his house. Old man. You can see some of the images here. We'll go to CNN here in a second, I guess. And there's people walking the earth that kill kids and other political opponents without any reservation, and they're still walking the streets. Let's see what the CNN video. I just turned this on when I was going to get this started, and this popped up, so I haven't even time to look at anything. CNN, do they have the video posted up here? It's probably just on TV, huh? Looks like it. So a military raid on a guy for getting information from WikiLeaks and then lying about it. He must have been a threat to the establishment. That's the only way I could figure. Let me get out here in the side chat. Thanks for coming in, folks. Full house. Well, relatively. Full house. LS is with us. Rooster Cogburn was second. Good morning. Blind Shooter, good morning. How are you? Toxic Threads, Alicia, good morning. Early start? No, we were right on time. 6. I mean, relatively on time. We weren't late. Definitely weren't early. 6 is the advertised time, which would be 7 your time, I guess. All y'all on the side check. Killdeer Survival's with us. Good morning. How are you? True News says, Rooster, subscribe to True News. Their show is on fire. They do daily live streams. Okay, go check that out. Rooster recommends them. Alicia, it'd be great to meet in a small town, going in and having coffee. That would be interesting. That'd be that'd be a long day probably of probably end up talking for a while doing that. Well, let's see. I guess this is a video. Let's see if this comes around. Or maybe it doesn't. Everybody's probably in the world's probably logged into the CNN trying to watch this, so it might take a while. They spontaneously combust, Blind Shooter. Well, maybe that's the idea. Maybe that's a good idea. I hadn't thought about that. I really hadn't want to be associated with any of them, but you're getting to the point now where it may be wiser too. We're living in clown world. Yes, indeed, Rooster. Hey, Dad on YouTube. Good morning. Hey, are you doing out there? Are you still on standby, I guess? Let's see if they got any the video here. They're just going to talk about Roger Stone, I guess. They don't have anything. So we wonder why they were going after Assange so hard the last couple of years. And Assange, really, what do they have on Hillary? It must get a lot worse. Because they didn't give Stone and these people a whole lot of good stuff, not the real good stuff. And they don't show any of the video of him. Oh, wait. Maybe this one will have.
Wake up.
Maybe not. I don't want to watch a PlayStation commercial. You want to buy the hotel next to Area 51? That one you did in your video, Alicia, when you did the drive down there? You did the video where you stayed at that one place, I remember, out there in here we go.
I am a little bit of
there's some video of it.
This video. It's, you know, I have known Roger Stone for a very long time. I wrote a long profile of him 10 years ago in the New Yorker. You know, I'm working on a story about him now, and I was just in the house, and it's really a shocking, but like so much in these past 2 years, this is shocking but not surprising. He is been taunting the Mueller investigation for months. He admittedly was in close touch with people close to WikiLeaks, if not with WikiLeaks itself, in the period leading up to the 2016 election. He didn't think he was going to get indicted, but he knew it was a possibility, and here we are.
Well, there's some of the, I guess, footage, not a whole lot, but let me
wake up.
Yeah, we're awake. I think we're awake. Let me post some links to and below for later reference. Anybody might check in after the fact or as we're going. But I guess you could see you could say that this is people taking out each other's political opponents. But again, I see nobody associated with the Clintons and their ilk that gets treated like this, which points bad at the attorney generals and the FBI and everybody else. And what they do on the daily. Again, it just more looks like the FBI is just a bunch of attack dogs who are going to do what they're told and not what is right, which I guess they're not taught the difference between right and wrong either. Not that we expected them to. Maybe there was some hope, shred of hope in that, but maybe not. You never know. Go back in the side chat. Barry Woods with us. Good morning. How are you doing? You're in the side chat, Rooster. What are you talking about? You're the side chat. It's a sidebar window I gotta check out when I'm not looking at the regular internet. So I call it the side chat. Usually in a bigger panel, you know, there's the panel going on in a hangout in here, and we call that the actual chat, and we call the side chat the text, you know, the typed in stuff. It's old YouTube terms, you know. Good breakfast, it looks like. What's this? Poached eggs. You got a little bit of time off today, it looks like. That'd be cool. Sounds like a good time. Pretty cool. Yeah, Barry, right. Whatever they got on Stone, it looks like. It's just 7 indictments, it says. And it looks like it's pretty much he talked to WikiLeaks, so they're going to count that as ill-gotten information or something. He shared it, which is going to be another charge of some sort. And, you know, it's all going to be all the stuff, and it's going to be some conspiracy charge because they can't go anywhere without some conspiracy, right? And obstruction of justice because he did lie, I guess, about the whole thing, or they're going to consider it lying because he didn't tell them, you know, that he talked to WikiLeaks because, well, why would you? Because we know that the FBI has got it out for WikiLeaks anyway because they probably got all the dirt on all of them. witness tampering, making false statements. So he's told somebody else to keep quiet, probably on a recorded tape somewhere. He said, "Hey, you need to keep quiet." It could be something as easy as that, and they'd call that witness tampering. So yeah, that's just 3 different charges. Maybe there's multiple charges of each one, leading to the 7 they count. Maybe we need to get Angel down there with a camera. It's in Fort Lauderdale. Angel needs to go down there at the courthouse and get some filming on. Yeah, so that's all going down today. WikiLeaks did not respond for comment, I'll bet. So Michael Caputo commented, they can't prove collusion or conspiracy because it doesn't exist. So they're going after him personally. He will be vindicated. Yeah, because these are small-time charges. But yeah, they have to go in their guns drawn in the dark of the morning to get it done. With the old guy like this, I mean, seriously, it shows you the way they want to treat him. They treat you like the worst of all the gangsters when you go against the establishment, for lack of a better. I mean, is there any other reason? There's no reason to do that when you can walk up to the guy with a warrant and peacefully in a dignified manner in daylight, you can take them in, I guess you would say, but they don't do that anymore. Nope, they don't do that. Because obviously, if he's guilty of conspiracy against the crown, then he must be a high-value target. Says he tried to persuade witnesses to provide false testimony and withhold information from congressional investigations, the indictment says. Gave false testimony, yada, yada. It looks like they might be going after Jerome Corsi as well. So everybody that was trying to get dirt on the Clintons is going down. So Mueller is who we thought he was. And he's used the FBI attack dogs once more. And I don't know what it means for the average person, but definitely shows the political info on, if nothing else, it does show that there's opposing sides that they don't want. You can't oppose the more powerful side. That's pretty apparent. Right. Tipped off. Hey, the Saints with us this morning. Good morning, Michael Sayans. Good morning. LS, you're stopping off for some of the Lord's chicken? You're going to Bojangles? Man, send me a Bowberry biscuit. I can't think of what other Lord's chicken you're talking about, because that's the best stuff there is, the Bojangles. This is an InfoWars Wars. Greta Van Sust tipped off CNN before radio. Well, yes. Why else were they there? Yeah, if they got told, or it's definitely, and that goes back to, that's definitely a political hit job. Yeah, they didn't want to quietly arrest him. They wanted to make an example of him and stir the pot and get others shooken up. They want to shake the tree and see what falls out. That's definitely part of that statement. And it's a threat too, because they're going in there they're showing them that they're going in with guns drawn on this guy. Imagine other people that were involved, how they're going to feel about getting treated like that. Yeah, it's definitely a psychological game getting played there with having CNN on the scene to video that. Good point. They're all on it. This was as of 3 hours ago, 6:02, probably East Coast time when Greta tweeted that out. So this all 6 a.m. It happened at in Florida time. So yeah, good 3 hours ago. So you guys probably all knew about it. Actually, most of the East Coast crew isn't in here. A lot of the West Coast is. Yeah, let's see what else. Creating controlling the narrative, right? Right, Saint? Yeah, exactly. Friends before integrity. I don't even know if they have any friends, Barry. It's just maybe it's fiat before integrity, maybe a way to put it. There's got to be something that the F can stand for better represents their process. But why would they tip off a media company? To make an example, Michael. I think that's Chick-fil-A. Yeah, good point, Michael. She could be going to Chick-fil-A. Everybody gets all excited about Chick-fil-A. It's amateur hour, not especially for breakfast. I mean, it's only 9:30. They got to be getting breakfast food, right? They got to go to Bojangles. So who was directed to ask about the wiki dirt? Is it really dirt if it's felonious information on somebody? Somebody has a potential felony out on them, but Mueller indicts says he was coordinating with Trump about WikiLeaks stolen emails. Yeah, they're going to just tie this back to WikiLeaks and say it's all like classified information or something, or ill-gotten, stolen information. That's about the highest level of charge they could probably put on this, but not looking at what any of the information is and how it points to felonies and subversion and treason by certain people in the country. Man, tied back to the October 7th, 2016 Podesta email release. Stone received a message from an associate of the high-ranking in the Trump campaign saying, "Well done." The associate and the high-ranking campaign official are not named in the complaint. So they probably go down next unless they're getting some sort of protection because they confess to basically nothing. Doing political games like they always. I mean, who's not looking for dirt on the other side? It doesn't make sense how this is a arrestable offense like this. A felony, even. I mean, that's a felony arrest. The indictment doesn't detail direct communications Stone or others may have had with Assange, which is what they're really going after. They really want to shut that down. That's a huge part of the agenda. Free information is not free. Prosecutors cite text messages and emails he exchanged with the people about what Assange had, and one sent a photo of himself standing outside the Ecuador embassy in London. That's where Assange is. WikiLeaks began speaking publicly about stolen documents it had, but before all had been released. WikiLeaks must have some good stuff. They're doing way out of their way to make sure it doesn't get out. and all those associated go down. That's what they really want to. Yeah. Yep. Strange times indeed. I don't even know what else to talk about now that I got this morning. It's strange times. I don't know how to play it. I don't know what it's going to go to because I don't know how legit on the up and up Stone is, or if it's just political infighting and they're just taking the hit. Barry Wood says selling 20% of the U.S. uranium to Russia and murder wasn't much of an issue. Right? Just a tarmac meeting take care of that, right? Talking about grandkids and stuff. Right, Barry? There's so much collusion. There's those things going on that nobody, I guess, as long as there's no indictment, they're not going to go after you. Despite any of the evidence, the FBI has to go out and until they're told to go somewhere, they don't do anything, no matter what evidence there is against you. I guess is what's going on. They're just good little minions. That's the only way I can play it. That's the only way I can think of it. It doesn't look any other way, right? Wake up, Canuck. Hey, good morning. How you doing? Barry Wood says you follow Dan Bongino. He show they all intimately know each other. Oh yeah, sure. They all know each other. There's no doubt. Roger Stone, I'm pretty sure, was tied to he was the one communicating with the Bundy's lawyer during their trial. Michael can't go down to the local diner because of Dindoos. Oh, you don't have a Whataburger? Oh, oh, you're near Chicago. I got it. So Whataburger breakfast taquitos, huh? That's the way to go. Where is Kim.com, says the Saint. You talking about the like internet guru computer person? Kim Commando? Or is this something else? I'm not sure what Kim.com is otherwise. They never go after people on the top. Government protects itself, right, Rooster? And maybe Stone is just a fall guy. And this is this political infighting. We'll see. If Trump is really opposed as bad as this makes it seem, this could get a lot uglier if people stand up and resist, I guess you'd say, because this could be a takedown from the inside, and the FBI ends up sweeping up everybody in the that campaign. When, again, you got the Clintons running around with felonious evidence on actually killing people, and this is just campaign tricks, and they treat this guy like this. I can't evaluate it any other way when that happens, other than they're on a certain side for a certain reason. And if that reason is just because they're a bunch of attack dogs and they only do what they're told, they don't think about it, then that's what it is. If it's because they're in on it and they're protecting their own power structure, their own side, that's possible too. That's really the only two options. Either they're ignorant and they're just attack dogs, or they're in on it and they're covering their tracks as well and dealing with these people to protect their own hides and their own organization. I mean, is there any other way, or any other options other than those two? If they're members of the FBI that go on this raid like this, that's the only two options they have. They're ignorant of the bigger situation and all the other corruption and murderous conduct of others, or they're in on it, like slaying cowboys in the middle of the street, in the middle of the desert. And they're covering their backtracking and covering all their other stuff because they're on the other side, covering all the centralized big government. That's just my opinion. That's the way I see it. Strange times. Felonious bureaucracy international. Oh, I like that, Michael. That works. That takes a lot to type out though. But felonious bureaucracy felonious bureaucracy of intimidation. How about that? I always did like the Bureau of Intimidation was always a good one from that old. Was it Point Break? That was what was the title he gave it, or one of those older '80s movies, Federal Bureau of Intimidation. Oh no, it was the Thunderheart. Was it? Was that the one we called it that? The old Native American guy with Val Kilmer. Called him the Bureau of Intimidation. I think that was it. More appropriate. It was definitely appropriate then. It's definitely appropriate now. And CNN gets frontline views to spread the message and send a message. It's the only way I evaluate that. They're sending the message to those involved, either shut up and cooperate or else, or something to that effect. Anybody got a better evaluation, we'll listen, but I don't know that it's accurate. We'll just leave it at that. So what else is going on? I don't know. We're at 641 here. Markets should be rolling open. Looks like they were scheduled to move up. I guess they were expecting. I would figure this arrest would hit quite a blip, but it doesn't look like it has. Whoa, silver's quite a bump. Bonds are up, Dow Jones up, but this might be it. The lead headline. I'd seen this on here. I think this was up still last night. Fed may be closer to ending its balance sheet reduction, so they're going to stop getting rid of all the stuff they bought up in QE3, 4, Twist, and every other market manipulation effort they had back the last 8 years. They're going to keep it. They're going to keep money on the books, I guess you'd say, and not reduce what they call their balance sheet, basically their stocked away money. So that's going to prevent inflation. And they're not going to have to raise rates if they don't do that. So that's an interesting move on their part for the sake of the economic impacts that it has. Click into that and see what goes down. So they've been discussing when to curtail the reduction in bonds it is holding on its balance sheet. The end of the program is getting nearer. So the way I read that is they're not going to get rid of all they have. Maybe they're trying to say that they're going to be done getting rid of everything they have, but I don't think they can get rid of everything they have because of all the, what would you call it? Inflation that it would cause, all the problems in the market that it was caused if they were to offload all the bonds that they had been holding the last 10 years. They're nearing a decision on when to end the reduction of the bonds it is holding on its balance sheet. A consideration for investors watching how far the central bank will go in tightening monetary policy. So again, the Fed had $4.5 trillion worth of bonds as this accounting has. We don't know because we're not allowed to audit the Fed, little less close it down. 4.5 trillion. If you dump that much cash out of bonds or into the bond market or anywhere else in the markets, you can imagine the chaos that would ensue. But just as bad as it is that they hold it, which manipulates the market, dumping it in would manipulate and crush markets as well. Um, next Federal Open Market Committee is next week, which they'll talk about this. So more to follow. So the maximum roll-off, the maximum they dispose themselves of is $50 billion worth of bonds a month. Though it is rarely ever reached. They usually don't even roll off that many bonds out of their asset balance sheet. December saw a reduction of 34 billion in treasuries and mortgage-backed securities. In total, the bond reduction has been about $400 billion. Okay, so the Fed has fessed up that they have reduced their $4.35 trillion balance sheet because they had to save the Wall Street back in 2008. So they sucked up all those bonds, and they've only reduced about 400 billion. So they still have over $4 trillion worth. Oh man. And people wonder why the bond rates are what they are and why they're such a big deal. Be interested to see what Gregor Mannarino has to say about this, but it definitely shows you the manipulation of the bond markets. And so maybe they're predicting here that they're going to keep reducing up till the June period and get down to 3.5 trillion. But there you go. So Roger Stone lies to Congress, gets a felony arrest by the FBI, the Fed malinvests and manipulates the market to the tune of $4.5 trillion, destroying people's livelihoods in the meantime, and they get to walk free and make policy every day. You figure all the Federal Reserve chairmen, all the different banks and everything else, they should all be in jail. So that's interesting. We'll see how that plays moving through the summer. But definitely the market likes the way that sounds. Anything to keep that bond rate down, to keep them money pumping into their coffers, because people aren't going to buy low yield bonds. So they got to put it in stocks to try to beat inflation. Because that's the only reason people in the market, because they have to beat inflation, which is caused by the Fed to begin with. It's like a self-flicking ice cream cone. That's all it is. But silver and gold definitely taking a big bump. I should have bought something while I could. It's an extra quarter right there. See what else is going on in the side chat here. Barry says he's losing faith in Trump. He stated our 2A issues are over, at least while he's in office, yet nomination of the AG that is a gun grabber. Right, Barry? I mean, people called it basically from the beginning. Trump is not friendly to our rights. He is friendly to his agenda and his legacy. That's the way I see it. He's in it for his legacy. It has nothing to do with our freedoms, my opinion. But again, this Roger Stone stuff, if it gets more, if it blows further up, we'll see who else gets sucked into it. But he could just be a fall guy just to play the political game too. Just the two sides warring over control from the inside, not actually an outsider in there causing problems. But there were other interesting things going on that I picked up on last night that I brought up. We're sending the Navy through the Taiwan Strait, which is definitely a thumb in the eye of China, and further exacerbating the measures there. But what other way to deal with the bad economy than to start a war? That's always been a good go-to, right? This is out of the South China Morning Post, and I'm updating the links as we go here in the description box, so you can refresh or come back later. There'll be links in the description box to check out. Fourth time the Navy has publicly admitted to sending surface combatants through the strait since the U.S. restarted the practice last summer. So 4 times in the last year we have been doing, basically it's a provocation. I mean, China claims sovereign water territory because Taiwan is still technically in their eyes, sovereign state of China. We say otherwise, and this is the way you prove it, by sailing your ships between in the Taiwan Strait there and saying, look, this is not under your control. So 2 Navy warships sailed through the Taiwan Strait on Thursday. Taiwan said multiple Chinese jets flew near the southern tip of the self-ruled island to the West Pacific on the same day for a naval training exercise, what we would call violating airspace if it was to fly over the U.S. The USS McCampbell and the USNS Walter Deal conducted a routine Taiwan Strait transit, and according to international law, according to the Pacific Fleet Commander, or Lieutenant Commander Gorman, the Navy statement continued to say the ship's transit demonstrates the U.S. commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific. The U.S. Navy will continue to fly, sail, and operate anywhere international law allows. The Navy sailed 2 ships through the straits in October and November, a maneuver that was followed by multiple Chinese warships sailing into the area. And this isn't. This is on top of the stuff that goes on in the Seychelles with the overflights of the Chinese-made artificial islands and everything else, and all that going on there. This is expected to further disrupt already rocky Chinese-U.S. relations. Beijing, obviously, we have the trade war going on, which is just an extension of real war before it goes hot. So the trade issues were put to a halt, expire March 1st. Yada, yada. Separately, the Chinese ministry said that People's Liberation Army Air Force on Thursday had aircraft, including bombers and early warning planes, fly through the Bashi Channel between the island, which would be the Taiwanese island of southern tip, and the Philippines to the West Pacific. And that reminds me, there was a concerning article as well I saw. Where did I see it? That the Philippines is in panic mode because some of the old Navy base at Subic Bay may be coming under foreclosure, and they're worried about the Chinese buying it up. So the Chinese government is scrambling to secure Subic Bay so that the Chinese don't move in, and basically any Chinese corporation with that kind of cash is basically an extension of the government. And pretty soon you have the Chinese Navy docking in Subic Bay, and that really, when you talk about strategically with how that relates to Taiwan, circles the wagons with the Seychelles and Taiwan all in this basically triangle of control by China. Strange. Where did I see it? Was that on the Drudge last night? I saw it last night, right before I hit the rack. Don't know that it's going to be on the Drudge. It may have been on Twitter. But, yeah, the Chinese moving to Subic Bay, that's why Subic Bay we held on to it. It was access to the Pacific, and then later it was definitely a leverage to get to between Taiwan and Japan quickly, and support operations in Vietnam and everything else that could be done from there. Strategically speaking, of course. I don't see where I saw that link, but it's out there. You could probably Google it. Chinese Subic Bay, Philippines foreclosure, something like that. And I was reading about that. Might have been in CNBC, actually, but it'd be way down the links by now. way down the line, but that's definitely concerning. Moving on, speaking of the government shutdown and the impact it's having economically with all the other problems, like if there wasn't enough going on, our Commerce Secretary is an idiot telling people to get a loan to these unpaid federal workers. So it's not bad enough that you're not getting paid and can't afford what you already have. Take on more debt, so you have to have even more expense in the long term, especially. I don't know when we're not telling federal workers to, hey, get a job, get to part-time, do something. But I guess the job market's so tight right now that even that's difficult. And most employers, if they know that you're a furloughed worker or laid off because of the shutdown, probably aren't going to hire you. Maybe you can get some side work, I guess, doing cash stuff, but you're not going to be able to go work at McDonald's because I'm like, I want somebody here that's at least here for till summer and all the high school kids can come back to work or something. I don't know. But they're telling them to go get a loan, get in debt, to get in more debt. And somebody, I think, did a video on this the day before as well, because I think he said this on the 24th, and this got updated today. And somebody was talking about it on the YouTube, I think, briefly when it first came out. But our Commerce Secretary is an idiot, telling people to put themselves in a worse position because of the bad position of the government. So I guess he urged people facing a second missed paycheck to seek loans to pay their bills, while adding that he could not understand why they were having trouble getting by. Really, you don't understand why things are such a train wreck? Seriously? He hasn't been paying attention. I don't know why that guy has a job. Wilbur Ross needs to be fired. He said it was disappointing that some federal workers affected by the government shutdown were not showing up to work. Oh, goodness. Shut it all down. Sorry, Dad, but that's just sad. So he has some quotes in here that are just really choice stuff. So Ross, who made a fortune buying distressed companies, said it was disappointing that some federal workers affected by the government shutdown were not showing up to work. So the 30 days of pay that some people will be out, there's no real reason why they shouldn't be able to get a loan against it. And we've seen a number of ads from financial institutions doing that. So there's really not a good excuse why there really should be a liquidity crisis. True, the people might have to pay a little bit of interest. Well, yeah, it benefits the banks. So, of course, he's going to recommend you go get a loan. I've seen a lot of anecdotal stories out there, a lot of local organizations at places that have a lot of large federal presence, near bases, near large federal facilities, I guess you'd say. A lot of local organizations stepping up, food banks providing services, local churches, especially if their congregation, people in their congregations, getting food cards, getting, financial assistance, especially for rent, mortgages, stuff like that. Especially if you're part of their congregations, people have been getting helped out like that. But the last thing you want to do is go to the bank, but they don't want you to go to your neighborhood church or charitable organization. They want you to go to the bank where they can charge interest. Well, the other groups can too, but the banks feed the machine. That's what feeds the machine. So that's what they're going to push. That guy's in on it. He's not ignorant. So that was my scratch your head story of the day right there. Like, yeah, you're on the brink of foreclosure, probably in bankruptcy, but go get another loan. I'm sure that'll be fine. But that's the only solution they have. That's the only, and the working in the paradigm they work in, that's the answer to about everything is get more loans, get more debt, to solve your problems, because that's what they do in DC, right? Almost on the 7 o'clock hour. What else we got going on the side chat before we bounce out of here? Somebody brought anything up? Goodness, that was a long. You guys have been chatting away here. What did I miss? Let's talk about prepping. Hey, good morning. How you doing? Thanks for checking in. That was a few minutes ago. Sorry, I'm behind the power curve. Rooster calls it, sees in the pocket of the Zionist. Maybe. Might just be in the pocket of the big banks. Maybe it's all one and the same. Maybe it doesn't really need a title. It's just the people in charge. People talking about rifles. Whatever you have is what's good. That's one way to say it. Anything to distract from domestic issues, I guess, says Dad on YouTube. I don't know that it wasn't getting much distraction of the day. The Drudge doesn't even have it on there anymore. But I think I popped this up last night on the Chinese story. I would say the domestic stuff is distracting. That we're being led to war. People are kind of oblivious to that. One of the big things during the election was everybody's worried about Hillary taking us to war, and everybody on the other side was worried about Trump taking us to war. And here we are, we're going to war. I wonder how that happened. Well, our economies and our banking system is in the tank. The only way they can get out of it is to deadweight loss through war, destroying things so you can borrow more money to build things. Dad's going to the gym. Right on. Have a good one. Have a good day, Dad, on YouTube. Team Foco's with us. Hey, good morning. Wes S is with us as well. If China is not even a real place, it's all fake. It's CGI. Interesting take, Wes. Let's talk about Preppin. Says, don't joke about that. He's made conspiracy jokes, and a few years later, people are actually believing the same idea. Right? Yeah. Third order effects. Team Foco asks if you see the new Patriot Nurse video. That's Patriot Nurse, I'm assuming. I know she did a chat with Reed just yesterday, right? I didn't get to check it out, but somebody said it was pretty fire. Oh, you joked about taxing cow farts, and here we are, right? Yeah. Yep. Just take out a loan, Dad. Doit did a vid. Dad on YouTube did a vid on what? So Wes S says, if Trump was part of the machine, why are they putting so much sand in his crankcase? Well, are they really, Wes? Maybe he's just diverting everybody's attention long enough to get this war started, and it won't matter. Like I've hypothesized for a long time, he's a good cover for an economic collapse because it's easy to point the blame at him. Goodness, I'm way behind on the chat here. Sink and grab the rock. It helps. Still don't know why Congress gets paid, says Alicia. Yeah, because they write the rules. They write their own paychecks. That's which is part of our biggest problem. The state should have never relinquished so much control. Everybody should be paid by the state that sends them. But alas, states don't have their own money like gold and silver, and that's our problem. The machine is fed from within, and the Federal Reserve. Dad, this is just a crazy idea. You could be prepped to at least maybe be able to handle a missed check or two. Just an idea. Just an idea, Dad, right? Oh, good. That's good. Team Foco. Next, the big pharma will be running stress pill commercials for the government workers. Yeah, anything to make a buck, right? How's everybody's weather doing out there as we get ready to check out here? People believe the Matrix thingy. All right. Hey, Chipper checked in up. Chipper 66. Yep, there he's with us. Uncle will take care of everything, right? A lot of people believe it. Good chat there, folks. Good side chat going today. Thanks for checking in. So that Roger Stone stuff kind of caught me aback this morning. I wasn't expecting that. I figured we could just talk about going to war with China and the economic situation all morning, but that first half hour of Roger Stone information was pretty interesting. Looks like we just got snow here and there going on out there. War is good for re-election, Michael says. It's interesting how that works, isn't it? They vote for the people that got us in the war. Doesn't make much sense. Like war is a good thing. America, we've conditioned ourselves to think that we were fighting for truth and justice in some way, it seems like, in all these different incursions we get into in the past. And we're convinced that builds up the national brand, I guess you'd say, in this this aura of who we are as Americans, and it's been detrimental. We've put ourselves in a hole because of it. Here's an idea, says Alicia. Pull out everyone across the ocean, take over the Americas, even Canada, leave the old world behind. Are you talking about all the Americans that are overseas? Take over Canada? Are you saying we should take over Canada, Alicia? I'm not sure I'm following here. Is it cold where you are, Wes? Is that right? It's not bad here. It's just, frost weather. It gets below freezing every morning. It's been relatively mild here in the 40s in the daytime. Some nice days. Too bad I haven't been able to get any work done because I'm having to work. Maybe this weekend, hopefully, be nice. The last couple have been kind of bad weather, and I've been having this stuff going on. I haven't gotten any work done. Get some work done. Garden time will be here soon enough. We got to get some ground broken and some stuff moved around and reorganized our garden situation this year. Billy Bird Outdoors is with us. Good morning. Thanks for joining. Nope. You're right, Team Foco. JFK was no NOM and no Fed, and look how that worked out for him. Yeah, if people like to stay alive, they don't conflict the banking system in particular. Take over North, South, and Central Americas, leave the other side to itself. If we could just deal with the 48 states, Alicia, I'd be happy. We could just, maintain that area would be fine. 26 with wind chill putting it at 18. That's like a normal day around here, Wes. That's probably about 26 or so here right now. It's chaos time, says Billy Bird. Have the globalists not always been in control for quite some time now, Billy Bird? It's the way it seems, right? That's the way it seems. So there's the snowfall coming in hard on the Rockies, Midwest, Northeast. It's all good times up there. It's about time to bounce out of here. But thanks for joining us. And thanks for checking in. It was a good side chat there. Gnotic Pasto rolled in. Mild weather up there where you are? Yep. We covered the Roger Stowe thing right off the top. GP. Right off the top. That's what we spent half the chat talking about. Definitely interesting. Definitely, I guess, just shows that the FBI is either ignorant or in on it. They do a felonious arrest of the guy like Roger Stone in the dark of the morning just to prove a point, send a message. Why else would you be doing that like that? So that's only makes sense. You can't tell me the FBI is anything other than a attack dog or they're in on the corruption for something like the way they went down that whole thing today. So Dad says if in the USA you don't fix the money fixes you. Yeah, that's our situation, it seems like. It doesn't fix us, though. Just devalues us. Just ruins our day. So that's the deal. It'll be interesting to see what third order effects this arrest indictment has, because there's a lot of people involved that we've all kind of thought of as on the up and up. And if they're getting taken down like this on what can only be considered light charges, no murder involved, no children dying, no none of that stuff, it leads me to believe that they're over the target in their accusations and what they're going after, which makes you want to support them more. Yeah, Wes, that's a good one too. Frequently bought investigators. I like that. We came up with Felonious Bureau of Intimidation. We're kind of mixing some things up there we could use. It's kind of long and wordy, but you know, it is what it is. So it is what it is. Angel R's with us. Good morning. Hey, Angel, you need to get down to the not Fort Worth, Fort Lauderdale Federal building down there and do some video of Roger Stone in court today. We need you to get on the street. You need to pull your weight. See what this Roger Stone thing is going down. All right. All right, I got to bounce out, folks. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining. Spread the word. See how these stories play out the rest of the weekend. Interesting that it did happen on a Friday, when they like to kind of put out stuff that kind of dies down over the weekend. You know, information and news that they don't want to get people to get too excited about. They release on a Friday, and this went down on a Friday. Just a thought there too. Felonious Business Industrial LLC. There's a good one, Michael. Felonious business, right? Because either they are ignorant or they are in on it, and both of them, if either one are true, they should be shut down accordingly, along with many other government three-letter agencies. But you could definitely start there. J. Edgar Hoover was corruption from the beginning, and we allowed it to persist. Really can't say anything good about it. You know? Felons being investigators. Oh, there's a good one. Okay, we're getting all kinds of good acronyms out here. All right. I definitely are going to get out of here. Thanks, folks. Have a good day. Enjoy your weekend. If I don't see you, I'll see you on the YouTube somewhere. Most of y'all, at least, I'll see somewhere on the YouTube this weekend. Have a good one. Live free.